You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. And as always, I apologize for all of my Hebrew pronunciation. I know I'm going to pronounce Hebrew words wrong, so instead of getting annoyed, I give you permission to laugh at how I say things. Today's topic is Tefillin. If you've ever seen someone in synagogue or at the Western Wall with little black boxes strapped to their forehead and arm, you've witnessed this mitzvah in action. To the untrained eye, they might look like mysterious props from a sci-fi movie, but they're one of the most powerful symbols of Jewish identity and practice. Tefillin are about taking the words of the Torah and literally binding them to yourself. It's not metaphorical. This is Judaism's wearable tech. Except instead of counting steps or tracking sleep, it's tracking your connection to God and Jewish memory. So buckle up, or really strap in, because we're going to explore what tefillin are, why they matter, and how they've been worn for thousands of years. Tefillin are made of two small square black leather boxes, each containing handwritten parchment scrolls with specific verses from the Torah. One is called the Tefillin Shel Yad, worn on the arm opposite the heart. The other is the Tefillin Shel Rosh, worn above the forehead, symbolizing the mind. The boxes contain 4 passages: the Shema, Deuteronomy 6, 4-9, Vehaya im Shemoah, Deuteronomy 11, 13-21, and 2 from Exodus, 13, 1-10, and 13 for 11-16. Each emphasizes remembering God, teaching the commandments, and recalling the Exodus. The straps are also leather, dyed black on one side, and tied in special knots forming Hebrew letters, Shin, Dalet, and Yud, that together spell Shaddai, one of God's names. The Torah says in Deuteronomy, "You shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes." The rabbis took that literally and developed exact instructions on how tefillin are made and worn. If even one letter on the scrolls is missing or cracked, the whole set becomes invalid. Talk about strict quality control. Now the rules. Tefillin can only be worn during daytime on weekdays. No Shabbat, no major holidays, because those days themselves are considered a sign of the covenant. You put on the arm tefillin first, say the blessing, wrap the strap 7 times in the forearm, then move to the head tefillin, and then finish wrapping the strap around the hand and fingers in a pattern that symbolizes betrothal to God. If the straps or boxes get damaged, they must be repaired by a trained scribe or replaced. You can't just duct tape them back together. They must also be stored respectfully, often in a protective bag or box, never left on the floor. If a set becomes unusable, it is buried like a Torah scroll in a genizah because they're holy objects. So yes, even the wearable gear of Judaism has an expiration ritual more dignified than most humans give their phones when upgrading. Tradition varies by community. Ashkenazim and Sephardim differ slightly in how they wrap the straps around the arm and hand. Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam disagreed about the order of the Torah passages inside the boxes. Rashi's order is the standard, but some pious Jews also wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin to cover all opinions. That means 4 black boxes instead of 2, like a deluxe double combo meal of holiness. There's even debate on whether the head tefillin knot should be tied in a square or triangular style. Every detail is codified in halacha, but the underlying idea is always the same: connect thought, emotion, and action. And while traditionally men over 13 wear them, in modern liberal communities, women may also take on this mitzvah. Chabad famously encourages Jewish men of all backgrounds, even if they're otherwise not religious, to put them on even once. It's like a spiritual try-before-you-buy demo, except what you're buying into is a 3,000-year-old covenant. The symbolism is powerful. The Tefillin Shel Yad rests near the heart, representing feelings and devotion. The Shel Rosh rests on the head, representing thought and intellect. The strap extends down to the hand, symbolizing action. Judaism says your mind, your heart, and your deeds should be in sync, directed toward God. It's like aligning your operating system. If your brain wants to binge Netflix, your heart wants to call your grandma, and your hands just keep scrolling TikTok, tefillin remind you to bring those parts together in unity. The knots on the straps form Hebrew letters, so your very body becomes inscribed with God's name. This daily act ties memory of the Exodus and devotion to God directly onto your flesh. It's religion as lived experience, not just abstract theology. Tefillin also carry a sense of public identity. They're worn during weekday morning prayers, often in a synagogue, but they're also an unmistakable symbol of Jewish continuity. In the Second Temple era, and even earlier, Jews were already wearing tefillin. Archaeologists discovered ancient sets at Qumran near the Dead Sea, proving that Jews have been strapping on these boxes for over 2 millennia. In hostile times, wearing tefillin could make Jews targets of mockery or worse, but the practice never disappeared. Its resilience embodied in leather and parchment. Today, tefillin are still a unifying mitzvah. Whether you're an Orthodox Jew wrapping them every day, or a secular Jew putting them on once at the Western Wall, the experience ties you, literally, to generations past. There are also plenty of small but important customs. You don't talk between putting on the arm and head tefillin to keep the blessing continuous. When wrapping the strap around the fingers, many recite verses comparing the relationship between God and Israel to a marriage bond. You avoid wearing them in places not respectful for prayer. And when traveling, Jews often take them in a protective bag so they're not damaged or treated casually. Some even kiss the tefillin when putting them away, showing affection for the mitzvah. Like a treasured family heirloom, they're handled with care. And if you've ever tried to put them on in a hurry, you'll know leather straps have a mind of their own. Untangling them is practically its own act of devotion. Of course, Judaism being Judaism, debates never end. Some communities say you should stand when putting on tefillin. Others say sitting is fine for the arm, but standing for the head. Some argue about whether the straps must face outward or inward when wrapped. And then there's the eternal lefty-righty question. If you're ambidextrous, which arm counts as the weaker one? Halachic authorities even discuss this. The point is, tefillin may look like a simple black box, but they're wrapped in layers of tradition, law, and meaning. They're one of the few mitzvot that are tactile, visible, and daily, a full-body reminder that Judaism is about connecting thought, feeling, and action. So what's the big takeaway? Tefillin aren't about fashion or accessories. They're about identity, memory, and relationship with God. They anchor you to the Exodus, to the Shema, to the very core of Jewish belief. They demand precision in how they're made, respect in how they're handled, and devotion in how they're worn. And while they may seem unusual to outsiders, to Jews, they're a physical link to something eternal. Whether you wear them daily, occasionally, silly, or even just once in your lifetime, tefillin remind us that Judaism is not just spoken, it's lived, bound to our bodies as much as to our words. Thanks for listening to Everything Jewish 10 minutes at a time. If you enjoyed this episode about tefillin, please share it with a friend who might be curious about Jewish traditions. And do me a huge favor, leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It really helps more people discover the show and keeps me motivated to keep strapping these episodes together for you. Pun definitely intended. Until next time, keep learning, keep laughing, and keep connecting your head, heart, and hands to something bigger.